kind of getting into the meat of the show, we do have some controversies we want to talk about. One of which that I spoke of is I'm just going to read this tweet from the NRA. It says Mall Santa didn't want to give Michael a Nerf gun for Christmas and made him cry. The NRA made it our mission to fix this and make Michael's Christmas the best ever. And people did not like this. They acted like the NRA came and gave them a big old, I don't know, Ma Deuce 50 caliber Barrett, something or another. And like I said, it's ridiculous. It's a Nerf gun. I mean, I don't know of a better way to teach a young child gun safety rules than this. Mm-hmm. If he's hopefully grows up to, enjoy having the Second Amendment, enjoy shooting and being able to defend himself. What do you think? What do you think about this?
I think it's much ado about nothing. I think that anytime the far left or the woke culture or whomever has anything with a gun involved, they think that there's some kind of nefarious intent in giving a kid a gun, when in fact there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Absolutely, it's much ado about nothing.
Mm-hmm. It's literally fires foam bullets. Now, if they had shown up with like an AR-15 for the kid, they might, people might have a thing,
or even a BB gun. You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah,
it's Christmas time.
It's Christmas time. You filthy animal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they taught him how to do the Home Alone, the Rube Goldberg machines he used to defend himself.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I mean, there's a lot of things you can learn from that. You can learn, like I said, gun safety, which honestly leads to, being more responsible out in the real world. But some responses to this were, there's no hunting like the hunting of man, except for maybe Santa. Something like, you guys turned Santa into a terrorist. Congrats. And that's the craziest one right there. Like, it's the Nerf gun, dude. Calm down.
There's no shortage of crazy people out there.
There is no shortage of crazy people. Get on
it's
Twitter.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. It really is. And honestly, us giving this a little time, we can make fun of them. That's the only reason to even bring this up.
It is. Just absolutely. There's things to be outraged about. We talk about it every week here.
Yeah.
There's something. There's, kids, schools helping kids transition without telling their parents. That one.
That's bad.
Over in Tallahassee, which is not where I'm at, by the way. We are in an undisclosed location, shooting on location.
With a Christmas tree in the
background.
background.
With a Christmas tree in the back. I thought y'all might like that. But, yeah, there's plenty of stuff to get outraged. And this is just, you make fun of people who get outraged like this. I mean, there's got to be some civil discourse in this country.
Yes,
but this is not something to be civil about. This is something to make fun of them about.
It really is. That's the only reason to.
And I know you're not one to really make fun of people so much, but to try and engage in civil discourse.
I do, but when they make it this easy, what do you do?
It's a Nerf gun. If they tee it up, you hit it.
That's
right?
exactly right, Gray, and that's the fact of the matter. The NRA made this big to do about it, and I'm not always a huge fan of the NRA. I think that they take it sometimes to a more ridiculous end on the other end, fearing a slippery slope with the Second Amendment. Mm-hmm. That being said, however, I think they just had some fun with it, with this kid having a Nerf gun war with Santa.
Yeah,
it's funny.
It's funny. I wonder if he beat Santa.
It doesn't really matter. Santa's so padded, it didn't hurt at
all. It's a Nerf gun. Why would it hurt?
Yeah, right.
So, moving on. We're going to move on to something a little bit more serious. And this is something that happens year after year after year. Many churches put out official statements about this, and I think we'll get into it in a minute, but it's the argument, does the word Xmas take Christ out of Christmas? So I'm going to play devil's advocate for a second. Some argue the abbreviation Xmas was created by religious haters. If you write Xmas, they assert you're helping to commercialize the holiday and wipe away its true meaning. And supposedly they're misinformed. The term Xmas came about centuries ago. The first letter of the Greek word for Christ is chi, the capital X in the Greek language. So Xmas is an old, respectable abbreviation for Christmas. And what I say is that may be the case. But the big question here is if the historical use of if the X equals chi equals the first letter of Christ in the Greek alphabet is still an acceptable reason for Christians to use Xmas instead of Christmas. And just what are your thoughts on that?
I'm sorry. I didn't want that thing to vibrate anymore.
Yeah,
I apologize,
you're good.
Gray. I'm probably along the same lines. Traditionally, I've always thought of it that way: is why would you put an X there instead of writing Christ? Are we really that short on ink and paper that we can't
Yeah.
write out Christ? I did read you an article that I read this
Yeah.
week about from R.C. Sproul, who is no lightweight.
No,
He's
not a bit.
He is a theological juggernaut, if you will, and he wrote an article that's actually defending the use of X in Christmas, in that there's nothing wrong with it. I disagree with Dr. Sproul. Actually, I agree with you that and I don't see it as being this big conspiracy, which it very well may be. Somebody said, let's try to get Christ out of Christmas. I think it's just people being
The deep
unthinking.
state.
Yeah, I don't think it's a deep state. I think it's just people being unthinking. I really do.
I do. I think it has more effects though beyond just an innocent. I'm going to put it Xmas here. First of all, you go out on the street, you ask 100 people how many knew this fact that X equals chi equals the first.
Nobody.
Nobody. You're going to get 0 out of 100. Maybe 1 if you come upon a Jeopardy.
Yeah,
A
right.
Jeopardy player or something.
Aaron Rodgers or somebody.
Maybe from a Mark Twain quote.
Yeah.
But so historically, they might have a case why this was acceptable when the language was first kind of moving from the Greek language, morphing into the English language. But now it literally is like in today's world, you put an X over something, you're crossing it out. You are putting it out. And I think that fact alone makes us more harmful to the Christian, to Christmas, especially for Christians to use, than to just say, well, there's the historical context. Like, it's bad. It's not good. The written word isn't powerful.
I agree with your position on this, Gray. There's no controversy with me on this. I completely agree with you.
But so yeah, I mean, should Christians stop doing it? Absolutely.
I agree.
As
I've never
for-
done it, not one time.
Yeah,
in my
no,
life.
there's no good reason to do
It
it.
felt bad. It felt
feels
wrong.
awkward.
It feels
feels
wrong
awkward,
to do
yes.
that. I agree.
So I'm glad you're in agreement with this, and I hope that as Christians, we can see that there's really no good reason to take Christ out of Christmas, and I hope that we can, in the future, take that out into public sphere. I doubt it, but as we're going to see in just a minute, the actual Christian realities of Christmas is actually down on the downhill slope.